Hello, YouTube. So, we're back with another Dark Souls 3 episode, and, well, I did something dumb. When I recorded the audio for this episode, I left the mic on my headset facing up away from my face, so you can't really hear what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of watch these clips and just kind of do, I guess, like, post commentary. I don't know. I'll kind of describe what I was thinking and what I was doing at certain points. Maybe it'll give me a different perspective to realize that I was doing stupid things and I can point them out. But regardless, so we're back in Lothric Castle. We're gonna go down the main way, and of course there's this Lothric Knight here to deal with, and this, I guess, priest type hollow who can heal him and I believe buff him. So you kind of want to get him out of the way first because it does take a while to knock all of his health down, and it's really frustrating to get him down to low health and then have the priest, you know, knock him back right up to full health. But on top of that, the priest actually does have a sword, and he can kind of sneak up on you and hit you. And if he does that and then you take hits from the Lothric Knight, it can just lead to bad times. Yep, and there's a death. Yeah, these guys can be kind of hard to fight if, you know, if you're not careful. They're pretty aggressive, and you can't really. They're kind of anti. For lack of a better term, they're designed to kind of combat. Kind of one of the more traditional Dark Souls methods that I use a lot, and which is, you know, putting up your shield and trying to circle around an enemy to go for a backstab or make them go for an attack and miss, and, you know, follow up with a hit of your own. And they kind of punish that, like they'll do that shield bash that'll, if you do have your shield up, it'll drain most of your stamina. So it does become kind of difficult. And here you can see I went ahead and switched back to the stone Parma, and then back to the Lothric Knight shield, which are pretty similar shields in terms of stability. But the Lothric Knight shield has a little higher lightning defense, which might actually come in handy in fighting these guys. Because I don't think this guy does, but some of them can actually buff their sword. Not sure why I didn't roll through that first attack. There's no way I didn't see it coming. I'll sit here and drink my morning coffee while I commentate. So I think I only died to that guy twice. I think I make it this time. I'm not sure. I still find it just absolutely pitiful, the fact that, excuse me, that I, at this point, have still probably died more to common enemies than the Dark Souls 3 bosses. But I mentioned it before, and I'll say it again, like, in Dark Souls 3, the trend does seem to be very difficult enemies and bosses that are a little more forgiving. Okay, never mind. I lied. I do die to him again. I do die to him again. He took that big step lunge towards me. I'm sure at this point I was pretty frustrated. honestly, looking back, I shouldn't have stuck with the Carthus Curved Greatsword as long as I did. It is acknowledged as a really good PvP weapon, but I think that's more so because of its weapon art, which I never really used, and because it has that bleed effect. But for PvE, I don't feel like it's that strong of a weapon. I think largely because the issue I took with it was its long wind-up, which for a curved sword isn't all that great. And for a bleed weapon, you want something that you can hit a lot of times very quickly, so you can accumulate that bleed. And Carthus Curved Greatsword, it's pretty slow, so it's not really going to do that as much as like a dagger or katana. And I probably went ahead and noted that elevator you can't really take it, but it will be a shortcut later. And don't forget to take out the priest kind of hiding in the corner over here, because he'll buff up these two regular Lothric Knights. They don't have the glowing eyes, so they aren't as bad, but there's actually two. I tried to take out that first one before the second one came running up, but I couldn't quite do it. Yeah, they were wombo comboing me to death. I honestly should have rolled to the left and just kind of sprinted away, but oh well. So about halfway through this recording segment, and I've gotten about 0 done. Oh, excuse me. At this point, I'm just like, I'm gonna sneak past everyone and run to the next bonfire because I don't want to deal with it. Unfortunately, I'm not able to sit at said bonfire, so I have to make another lap. You can actually dip through here. And I pointed out the sign. I was like, I bet it says pointless. And once you know what it did, because I have no clue why there's a shortcut there. Still not able to sit down, so I figure I can take out one, but not two. I kind of got lucky and they both were open at the same time for that first hit. I was able to just keep racking up hits. And you may be alarmed when you stand up from this bonfire to see him standing there, but he won't aggro unless you walk towards him. And honestly, you'd probably have to get pretty close since you're behind him. This is a safe chest, so we're going to open it up. And the the prayer set, which is actually Prince Lothric's attire. Of course, it's not a real illusory wall, but I figured I might as well check. And of course, I have to wear the covetous silver serpent ring because I'm greedy. I gotta get those souls. you listen real close there, you could hear after I staggered him and his shield kind of flew back, he was in that kind of parry animation where you could do a riposte attack. But also if you just hit them, it makes that kind of dull thud sound. And that's kind of the universal sound in this game, that you're doing extra damage. It applies to bosses. Like if you staggered a boss, you hit them, it'll make that sound. Or like those gargoyles we fought in the Profane Capital, you know. Anything that can be staggered. I hear enemies. Oh yeah. Yeah, those guys will leap on you if you go get that Titanite chunk I just picked up. Of course, there's another winged knight here. This one with the twin axes. These guys can be backstabbed pretty easily. They can also catch you in their combos pretty easily. I came very close to dying there. That miracle's no joke. If you're not paying attention. Failed backstab. We get a lucky drop here. We get his axes. I don't know if I would use them, but it's kind of a shame power stance isn't a thing. Oh, yeah, by the way, there's a fake wall here. But anyway, it's kind of a shame power stancing isn't a thing in this game. It was kind of cool being able to pick out two similar weapons, and as long as you had the right stats, you could, you know, dual wield them and do certain movesets. And you could even have two different weapons and still be able to power stance it if you met the requirements. It would follow the moveset of one of the weapons, but it was, honestly, I thought it was really fun to like mix and match weapons. Now they just kind of said, well, we'll offer you a couple options of weapons that come as dual weapons, and you know, they'll have certain special moves, but that's about it. Of course, this is kind of a precarious situation because I can't heal, so I'm kind of just backing away so I can use that Estus. I'm not too sure what I was thinking there. It's a bad roll. These guys are giving me trouble. If I hadn't missed him on that last hit. Ooh, the range. Okay, that's finally done. So we're about to head to the bonfire, and this clip is about to end. Okay, so we're back. We're gonna keep working our way to the bonfire. After fighting all these other guys, these simple hollows are kind of pushovers. And look out for the guys sitting down on the right. If you ever see treasure that looks like it's just being presented to you, assume there's someone sitting nearby just waiting to pounce on you. So here we are, kind of the main bonfire of Lothric Castle. And you would be tempted to go ahead and cross that bridge towards the castle, but you don't want to do that quite yet. Because A, there is an item to be found over here. So we're going to go do that first and fight this knight. Not sure why I said a two-hand there, but kind of worked out. You can always just keep bashing away at someone's shield. Eventually they'll get staggered or drop it. I think I made a remark on the fact that I was a little terrified when I first entered this area, because I was fully expecting every single one of these knights, like sets of armor sitting on the ground, to come to life. So by the way, the first thing you're going to want to do is drop down. Otherwise you get burned to a crisp. You actually probably want to drop on the further ledge first to get that item, and then drop down to the lower part, because you're going to want to drop on the closer edge later to explore the next area, so I end up having to loop around an extra time unnecessarily, and I completely forgot about this bug. Honestly, you can attack it without having to worry too much about this guy. Like, they're not too much of a threat. And then more will show up behind you. And they can be a threat if they get you in that silly combo. And up here you'll find another wing knight. This one is of the halberd variety. I kind of wonder what the developers are getting at with the design of these wing knights. Like, they're obviously, the armor is obviously huge. It doesn't necessarily mean the knights inside are huge, but like, to call them wing knights, it would imply, you know, they could like fly or whatever, but then they those little wings on the back are so tiny. Like, I know these, like, faith for their miracles and whatnot, so maybe that's kind of the thing. They're trying to say they're faith-based, and maybe they think they'll be able to fly with their faith or something. I don't know. This is actually a pretty good area to get Titanite. You can find quite a bit of Titanite, like large Titanite, and even occasionally Titanite chunks. And then, like I said, we gotta drop to the far edge. So there's this treasure right here. Of course, that guy is going to turn into a puss of man. We're just going to ignore him because I hate fighting those things for multiple reasons. One of which being that they're very, very, very loud, kind of like the dragons. I somehow missed the item over there. Just an ember, but... Agent Noob. For some reason I decided not to summon him. I can't imagine why. So to proceed into the castle, you actually want to take this side path. And of course you're going to run into more hollow soldiers. One will be continuing to throw... those undead hunter charms at you, and the other will be shooting arrows at you, or crossbow bolts. Of course they're fire ones. And then back here, there's really not a lot to do, but there are some Lothric Knights if you want to fight them. I choose not to. And I think it's because really they're just there to kind of give you trouble coming back once you get that item on the ledge, which I never got that item and I don't remember what it is. I might have to go back there and pick it up later. I know I missed a couple items in the castle. And a raw gem. The next thing to do is go down here and fight this Outrider Knight. Which I made a comment, you can kind of see him sticking out, so you'll know he's there. And I don't like fighting Outrider Knights. They are fast and aggressive, and they have a lot of reach. And I was trying to heal twice there, and I could not, even though I smashed square twice. And he landed on my head. That's not cool. Not cool. Then we have to sit through more long loading screens. And then use more embers. And as you can see, we're getting low already. Not sure where I was going there. These guys again. Listen to that jerk scream again. I wish it was more obvious when you got a bleed effect on an enemy, because I think I did on that guy, but I'm not too sure. So it looked like the damage kind of jumped up a little bit, like I did bleed him, but nothing really. Occasionally it's obvious, but occasionally it's not. Like when you're fighting the Pontiff's beasts, like you can tell when you bleed them. But here I'm like, well, maybe I should use a different weapon, but I don't really have a lot of better options at this point. You might have heard kind of a dull thud on one of my hits earlier there. I think that was just because it was like a counterattack. Like if you time your hit right before an enemy's attacking, you kind of get that counterattack bonus damage. I think that's what that was signifying. And you get this sword and all these treasure chests. And this one was hard to see. Like, I assumed that it was a mimic because I couldn't really see its chain, but I took a closer look and I could see it looked like it was starting to curve the correct way. So I was like, it's safe. Same for that one, I couldn't see it, so I was like, well, I don't know. Better safe than sorry. But yeah, that's one thing I found kind of interesting in Dark Souls 2. You kind of got punished if you were haphazardly smacking away at chests to see if there were mimics. If you hit a chest twice, or I think with a strong enough attack, the chest would like be destroyed. If it was a wooden chest, if it was a metal chest, obviously not. But it would kind of be destroyed, and then the item inside would turn to rubbish, which I thought was kind of interesting. It happened to me once. I was waiting for a treasure chest, and there was a priest nearby who had casted like a... I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a... pretty much a ball of lightning that will slowly kind of work its way towards you. And at the time, I was like, it's slow, I'll just kind of run away from it. And I saw a treasure chest, and I was running towards the treasure chest, and I had kind of like seen the ball of lightning coming, so I just kind of dodged around it, and it hit the treasure chest and broke it, and the item inside turned to rubbish, and I was a little upset. So I hate this room for one thing, and I'm trying to say goodbye, but then that happened. And then I'm like, okay, I think it's safe now. Then another one shows up, and he's ready to ruin my day. So then at this point I'm like, okay, now surely it must be safe. And I believe it is. So, thank you all for tuning in. Sorry we're having goofy audio problems, but I hope you enjoyed our trek through Lothric Castle. We'll finish it up in the next one, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.
I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.